Hey everybody, this is Brogi Naric back again with another review, and today I'm going to be talking about Widows, directed by Steve McQueen. This was the first Steve McQueen movie I've ever seen. I know he's a good director. I think the last big movie he had was 12 Years a Slave. Did not see it, was not interested. When I heard he was involved with this, I wasn't all that interested. I saw the trailer, that got me hyped, but I was still a little iffy. And I saw the movie. I just saw the movie, and it's really good. I can see some people really enjoying this. I can see some people overhyping it a little bit, and I can see some people not liking it. And I'm I can see both sides. I can see both sides because even after seeing it, I can't 100% say I love this movie, but there are elements of this movie that I really enjoyed. And there's some certain things I just didn't, certain messages that this movie kind of has I liked, and some messages I didn't care for. The movie is about these women who end up in these three women who end up in a situation because their husbands are thieves, basically. They hold a heist, they end up dead. Now they have to deal with the repercussions of that heist, because their husbands stole some money from a person who wants his money back. Viola Davis plays Veronica Rawlings, who is the wife of Harry Rawlings, played by Liam Neeson, who was the leader of the gang. And she has the whole, she's the main focus of the movie, and she's the one who takes on the brunt of the scheme, because none of the wives knew exactly what their husbands were doing. Because you follow the different wives. You got Michelle Rodriguez, I think her name was Linda, and you have Alice, played by Elizabeth Debicki. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Who was with John Bernthal's character. And trying to not spoil this movie. This movie is tough to not spoil. Okay, so the husbands, they steal some money from a guy. His name is Jamal Manning, who's played by Brian Tyree Henry, who is my favorite character in this movie, who happens to be the bad guy. So, Jamal he's a former gangbanger. He's got street connects. Well, not just gangbanger, like he's into some hood shit. They don't get too deep into it, but he's trying to get out of that life and get into he's leaving one gang life to an even more serious gang life, which is politics, specifically Chicago politics. He's running to be the alderman of the 18th Ward, who's been ran by the Mulligan family, and he's running against Jack Mulligan, who's played by Colin Farrell, who's another one of my favorite characters in this movie, and he has his dad, who's had the position before him, Tom Mulligan, played by Robert Duvall, who's amazing in this film. I wish he was in it more. Yeah, Robert Duvall kills it. So anyway, the husbands steal money from Jamal. They steal $2 million from him, and then they end up dead because they get cornered and they end up dead. You see it in the trailer. Now, after that, Jamal wants to know why Henry Rollins stole from him, because him and Henry were cool. They weren't like best friends, but he's known as a thief, him and his squad. And he was like, why did he rob from me? So he wants the wife to get the money back. And, Viola Davis doesn't know anything about it. He's like, look, you got a month. You can sell some shit or you can do whatever, but you got money. Because she's the richest. Harry's was the richest out of the families that was with him. And he's like, get my money back in a month or you're going to end up dead. And then that leads her to getting the other women involved. Well, at least three of the other women. Two of the four other women involved. And they, do the heist. So that's the simple plot synopsis. Okay. So, my biggest problem with the film, like besides the, the action and all that, that's good. My biggest problem with the film is the main character, and then like one of the secondary main characters. Well, not necessarily main character, but the other focus, who is Alice. I don't like them. They are annoying. I have no and that's the other thing. So the husbands, who are pretty much all white guys, steal from this black dude who's trying to do the right thing and get into politics and try to actually better this neighborhood in Chicago. So they steal from the black guy, because they're working. Okay, so they steal from that alone, they steal from the black guy who's actually trying to do something good. So I don't have any sympathy for these women off jump because their husbands are asshole scumbags. Then you have Viola Davis, who before the movie came out, she had this whole thing where she's like, "Oh, I'm so happy to be in a movie where I get to kiss a hunk, Liam Neeson, and he was a white man, and he's my husband, but we're not, I'm not a prostitute, and we're not a slave." And literally, she hypes it up. They have 0 scenes in this movie where they are truly loving. Yes, there are a lot of scenes where they're kissing and kissing, and he's grabbing her boobs, and he's kissing her, but the scenes they actually have when they have to talk like normal people, they're either arguing or some other shit I can't get into because of spoilers. So for her to hype it up like I'm in a relationship with a white man and it's not a bad thing, but when you watch the movie, it's a fucking shit relationship. So I don't know why she felt the need to hype that up. Like, there's no need to hype that up because it's not a good relationship. It's just not. And I can't get into it, but there's certain things that happen in their relationship, and it's like, this is not a good relationship, and other things. I'll get to that in spoilers. So, like I said, the main characters I didn't like. Michelle Rodriguez, I liked. She was cool. She was just a mom trying to get her shit together. Her husband was a scumbag, and she owned a dress store, but he was fucking off the money, so once he died, they lost the store. And then there's another character, what was her name? Cynthia Arrive's character, who comes in. She's like in the background. Shit, I can't find their character's name. She was cool. She was of the women. It was her and Michelle Rodriguez. Those are my 2 favorite of the female characters out of the group. She is in the background. She's like, she comes in last minute, and it's believable enough. I can't say she's the weakest character. There's not a lot to her background, but like, she has the most skills, because none of the women have major skills in terms of like what you need for a heist, but she's the one who's like the not necessarily the wild card, but she can do most of the stuff. She's the most fit. She's the tough chick. She's basically playing Michelle Rodriguez's character that Michelle Rodriguez normally plays. And Michelle Rodriguez was playing the character she doesn't normally play with. She's, housewife. And that was fun to see. Daniel Kaluuya is Brian Tyree Henry's brother, Jateme Manning. And anyway, Daniel Kaluuya is awesome in this movie. He was super scary. Like, he was the tough guy. And there's a number of scenes where he's just thugging it out, and he was awesome. Colin Farrell was really, like I said, Colin Farrell was awesome. He's stuck in the shadow of his dad, and his dad is pressuring him and trying to get him to not lose. Like, we've been in control in this as aldermen for decades, and we're not gonna lose this to a black guy. Well, he doesn't say black guy, but it goes there. It does go there, which I loved and respected. I enjoyed those moments, because there's some messages in this movie. This movie is kind of like what they did with Black Panther. That's the kind of thing that frustrates me with this movie. It's like, what they make the black person who's talking the most sense, they make the bad guy, and they do that in this movie. But with Black Panther, people they caught on to what the movie was saying, minus the negative traits to that character. With this movie, they do it much more subtly, and I don't think most people are going to connect with it or pick up on those certain things. Not to say that Jamal's character was like super nice guy or anything, but he made, he's the quote unquote hero, I would say, in my eye. But that's all I can. That's why I said this movie's kind of frustrating. That's all I can really say. I mean, if you want drama and you want some twists and some intrigue and some girl moments, they got it in here. Like, it's a good, like I said, it's a good movie. There's just certain aspects with the characters and the messages I don't like, but then there are other aspects that I do like. So it's tough to grade this. And this is, like I said, this is the first Steve McQueen movie I've seen, and he helped write this. Which, like I said, the writing is very solid. The script is very solid. Like I said, the story elements of it all, for the most part, fits. I'm pretty sure you can pick it apart a bit, but it's very tight when you watch it the first time. Grade wise, as a movie, I give it an A. Like just on basis, I give it an A. But like me personally, I like a C. You know, because there's certain things I like, and then other things I didn't care for. So in terms of my personal enjoyment, I'd give it a C. But in terms of if you want to check it out, I give it an A. It's worth checking out. Just, you know, those just some of the things that bug me. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that. And I guess now to just get into spoilers. Hey, spoilers. So Viola Davis is heartbroken because her white man is dead, and he was rich, but he didn't leave her anything because that's how nice of a husband he is. He left her with jack shit. So way to go for big up in that, Viola Davis. So she has to get the other women together, and they try to pull this heist. Now, there's because it was his next heist, which basically he was gonna rob Colin Farrell, because Colin Farrell basically pet him up to steal Manning's money, because Colin Farrell was winning in the polls, but he also knew how much of a political threat Manning was, so he had Liam Neeson's crew rob the money to take out some of his funding to weaken him, but it didn't quite work. And he also set up his members. He set everyone else to get killed by the cops while he ran away with some of the money. That was a little bit shaky, because I think he said he lost some of it because of the explosion. He had set up explosives. He like put this gas to get them blown up, but he also set up some explosives. Neeson was working with Mulligan, but he was also going to screw Mulligan over. And basically, Liam Neeson is alive. Viola Davis, she has the thing with the dog, and she always keeps her dog with her, which was kind of weird, but it's a story element that actually makes sense. Which I said, the story is very tight, where she goes to one of the other wives who was with a 5-month-old baby, and she didn't want to get involved, but she has the dog with her, and then the dog goes to this room and starts scratching at the door and barking, which they established the dog tends to do that when he knows one of the owners is around. And she walks over and she sees on the table is this flask, which is a thing that they show over where she has his flask and she drinks a shot. And she sees the flask on the table and she sees the dog scratching on the door. But she doesn't open the door. She just leaves. Liam Neeson is still alive. He was fucking the other white lady and had a baby with him. They have a thing where their son died. He got shot for being black. And that kind of put a strain on their relationship. And also, once again, Liam Neeson is a scumbag. So once again, and also I have no sympathy for her character because this is the life he chose. The other girl, Alice, the other girl, they focus a lot on her. That was a funny moment where she was so she's dating John. She's married to John Bernthal, who's an abusive asshole. He's dead, and she's like the ditzy blonde. She doesn't know what to do. So her mom is like, why don't she be not a call girl? What's the what's not just call girl, but what's the one where they're like the high end girl? You know, like start dating rich dudes and banging them and getting paid. And she's like talking like, I don't want to do that. Basically, her mom's like, sell that ass and make some money. And she's like, I don't want to do that. And her mom slaps her. She gets slapped twice. She gets slapped by her mom. She gets slapped by Viola Davis, which is funny. So basically, she becomes a high-end call girl, and they focus so much on her, and I don't care. She's, ditzy blonde. Have no sympathy for her. Cynthia Arrive's character, she was cool. She's a hairstylist, and she's like just trying to make money. She's a workaholic, and she's not always there to take care of her daughter, but she works for a babysitting app, and she ends up taking care of other people's kids, which is kind of fucked up. But I like her because she used her money to help out her homegirl who was running the hair salon, because she was tied in with Jack Mulligan, who has this business initiative to help minorities and women with basically, it's a big political loan shark deal where he's like, I'll give you some loans, but you got to pay me on the back end, which is not really helpful to the business owners. So that's what I like about his character, is like he tries to front like he's this nice white man trying to help the hood, but he's actually doing grimy shit behind the scenes, and that's what his family has been doing for decades. Because Robert Duvall makes no lies about. He's like, he tells his son, I don't want you to lose to no nigga. We've been running this district for 6 decades, and you're not about to fuck this up by losing to a nigga. Like, he tells him this. Oh, Robert Duvall was great. He was going off. And there's a scene with him and Colin Farrell get into an argument, and he's just like, because that was near the end when he was losing in the polls, and he was like, you fired this guy. He was loyal. He worked for this family for 40 years. You're going to hire him back. And he's like, you're losing in the polls. We got loyalties. Like, our family's been running this district. We're losing, you know, we're not losing this spot to immigrants. We're not using this spot to people who have too many babies. We're going to stand here and we're going to hold this down. You know, he's basically talking some racist shit. And that was, I like that the movie put that out there, just so you know, it's not a bunch of dumb stuff. Daniel Kaluuya was, like I said, a gangster. He was killing, he fucked some people up. That's the scene they show in the trailer when they're in the gym. Okay, so it's like the 2 guys that got robbed, that lost the money. They had them in a trash can in the gym, and they was in there rapping. So he brings them out. Well, no, the goons bring them out. And Daniel Kaluuya's like, I want to hear y'all rap. So they're rapping. He's like all up in his face, listening to him rap as the 2 dudes was rapping. He just pulls a gun, shoots the tall guy, and lets the other guy run away, then shoots him. Which was a bit of a problem. They do that a lot in movies where people just kill people and somehow they just clean up the murder scene so well. He tortures this handicapped guy who was working with Liam Neeson and his squad. That was a bit of there was a moment that kind of took me out of the movie. It was like a continuity error, because because the guy's paralyzed and he's like stabbing him with a switchblade in his legs, and the guy can't feel it. Then he starts stabbing him in his shoulders, and he's like, oh, you can feel that. But there's a moment when they're at a bowling alley, and he walks by, and he kicks the guy's legs, and the actor goes, ow, that hurt. And I was sitting there like, wait a second, you paralyzed? How did you feel that? I think they should have cut that. They should have redid that scene. Because he literally kicks him in the leg as he walks by, and the actor goes, ow, that hurt. I'm like, wait a second, you paralyzed. How the fuck you feel that? But anyway, and there's a scene where he he doesn't kill the driver. He facilitates the killing of their driver, who was played by the dad from Raising Hope, and was happy to see him. And there's some other things that happened, but that was the main twist, was that Liam Neeson was alive, and he had a kid with the wife of one of his partners. And of course, after they succeed with the heist, that's the other thing. They succeed with the heist, they get the money, but when she goes back to the hideout, Liam Neeson shows up behind her and basically is like, yeah, I'm sorry. He was very selfish. He's like, I had to do this for me. There was no real reason for me to stick around this relationship. Our son is dead. I don't really like you like that. And I need the money for me. So, and of course, he throws her down, tries to take the money. She shoots him, and everybody claps. Well, not everybody, because some people clap, and I was kind of like, why are you clapping? Daniel Kaluuya gets killed. That was a good scene when he dies, because that was a swerve where they steal from the heist, and they steal from the Jack Mulligan's house with the money. They get in the car, and then Daniel Kaluuya's there with the gun and tosses him out, and he drives off. And he's like driving away, but then you can see through the rear view, there's a car pulling up behind him, which I was like, is it the cops? I was waiting for it to be the cops or somebody, but they rear end him and he crashes into like an intersection, and not an intersection, but like he crashes into like a guardrail or whatever, and he's dead. But it's the women, it's the widows, they get the money and get out of there. That was a cool moment. That was a nice little twist. Like I said, there's some good elements in this movie. And then there's some things I don't like. So it's kind of, wishy-washy on how I feel about it. But go check it out. It's worth seeing. You know, if you want to see a action heist movie, it's a solid heist film. But that's the most I can say about it right now. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Check out more videos on this channel. Thank you for watching. And peace.
Finish this thought. I am a slave to
the booty.